Macho John Madden in Orizaba, Mexico. As the sign says there, this is a magical pueblo, and it is. And this is my absolute favorite spot of so many favorite spots in this town. That is, the church you're looking at out there is Calvario. I'm pretty sure it's the Calvary Church, celebration of Calvary. The mountains, we're in the high mountains. I've been here a month, and I think I'm getting ready to leave. I've said off and on I might stay here a very long time, but I'm feeling kind of ready to leave. But I have one more thing I have to take care of before I go, and it has to do with my mission in this world. And if you don't think you have a mission in this world, you need to do your homework and find it, because life is empty without it. And if I don't get this done, I can't leave. So I'm going to keep talking for a minute. Been here, probably 5 weeks, almost 5 weeks now, and been happy, so happy in this town that I've often said I may not leave at all, even though I know I have to be by the shore. I've known for a couple of years that I want to live my life somewhere where I can be in the ocean, Gulf of Mexico, almost every day. And Veracruz offers that to me. So when I arrived in Veracruz on Noche Viejo, New Year's Eve, from Jalapa, which is a spectacular city where I'd been for 3 months, that area, Jalapa is quite stunning. The weather was terrible and it was winter. And my first day in Veracruz, it was sunny and warm, and I knew I'd come home. I knew that was a place where I'm meant to spend a lot of time. And I also had been drawn very strongly to the Riviera Maya. My one old friend in Mexico is in the island of Cozumel. And so I've held all along. For a long time I thought, boom, that's where I'm going to live, is out there, although I'd never been there. Most places I've been in the last year in Mexico, all the places I've never been before. But I've kind of landed on an idea that I will spend half the year in the Riviera Maya if it turns out that I like it as much as I think I'm gonna. Wonderful nature out there, beautiful water, beautiful beaches, and a resource of people on vacation with money in their pocket that I can offer my counseling services to. My background is clinical psychology and management consulting. And part of my mission is to do interventions face-to-face with people. And that can mean a 1-minute encounter as we walk down the beach. Or it's more and more meant longer relationships. And I think what I call being with Majo is I be me and you be you. And I've gotten real good at that. I had a big spiritual experience 4 years ago that changed my life. And I know a lot about being. But at this point, I'm talking 6 months Riviera Maya, 6 months Veracruz, which would allow me to come back up here, because I lived in the mountains for 16 years. And I realize I'm a mountain guy too. I can't live the whole year way out at the end of the Yucatan Peninsula where I don't have these mountains. Right near here is Pico de Orizaba, which is the highest mountain in all of Mexico, and I haven't made it there yet. I've seen it from a distance. From Jalapa, you could see it in a distance. The third highest mountain in all of North America. So in Orizaba, I had 2 weeks ago yesterday an extraordinarily difficult experience. In the last 4 years on the road, I've had lots of challenges. And my YouTube channel is titled Majo Breaking Bad. Some of it has involved being less middle class than I used to be, big time. So I've been arrested before. In 4 years, I've been arrested 4 times. The first time was for punching the guy who insulted my black roommate, and I'll always be proud of that. No matter what other people think of it, it was the right thing to do. The fourth one happened here in Orizaba 2 weeks ago. Parque Alameda is at the foot of Cerro del Borrego. And it's a spectacular park, and mostly I've been parking my car there because it's free. If you park right next to the park, it's free. Everywhere down in here you're paying, and I'm on a skimpy budget and had to buy a new phone, so I'm busted this month, and I've had lots of car problems, so I've been busted every month really on the road. 4 years, Social Security check never makes it. So in that Parque Alameda, I got arrested. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And the story is told elsewhere. It was a motorcycle. I tell the story elsewhere. It was a big mistake. And one of the cops who dropped me off at the jail, which is way south in town here, said, sorry, this has been an administrative error. That's how his Google Translator translated it. And you'll be out of here in 12 hours. Which did happen. And I was treated fine. And it could have been not a terribly stressful 12 hours, but shortly after I was put in a cell, they put a young kid in the cell with me who was drugged out, and no problem, really. Young kid laying on the floor saying, I've gotten a broken arm, somebody's got to look at my arm. He was crying. And in a jail that in 11 hours I never saw anything bad happen. Everything was respectful towards me, towards that kid, except this, that some jailer who didn't like him came in and proceeded to kick the shit out of him 6 feet away from me. The most traumatizing experience I've had in a long time. I came damn close to jumping on that jailer's back. I really was about to. And some wiser part of me said, that's like assaulting an officer, man. You're going to regret that. Those, I didn't hear all those thoughts. But what I did instead was I screamed, stop, please, stop, at the top of my lungs. And he stopped, not to please me, but because he knew that other people at that point knew what was going on. And over the course of the next 10 hours in that jail, I became friends with that kid. He cleared up. I didn't know whether he was totally loony, but he seemed not to be, because over the hours he got clearer and clearer, and I became friends with him. And he's a street kid. He gets in trouble. He's been in jail before, and he knew other people who came in there, and he was able to speak Spanish with them, which he couldn't with me much. But I did promise him before I leave that I was going to do something about it. I would not let that jailer get away with that. So that's the thing I've got to get done before I leave. It's taken me 2 weeks to get around to it. Partly I got sick. I'm still on day like 6 of a cold and full of snot and not at my best by any means. But I have to get this done. Police. The ones who arrested me have been nice to me ever since. They know where I park. And they know they did something wrong by... It was a political thing. They had to arrest me. So yesterday, I've been saying I got to do this smart. I don't think it's a crooked police department. But there are ways I could get hurt from this. Some people would say, you're in a foreign country where you barely speak the language and you're going to tangle with the police. In Mexico, where that's, there's a lot of false information about how dangerous it is to cross the police. It's mostly old information. Police are very professional these days. But I went to the Department of Tourism, which is right down that way, and spoke to the woman who runs that office, who knows me a little bit, and told her what had happened. And she said, thank you so much for coming forward. Here's the name of the woman in Human Resources who runs the Human Resources Department. You need to take your story to her. So I've spent the whole morning organizing around that. I've got it all laid out in about 6 screenshots translated from the Google Translator in my phone to take her through it. Feels awful important to do it good. Be looking not too scruffy. I had a dirt mark on my pants. I went to the bathroom and cleaned that off and checked. You know, I don't have money to see a barber, so this is the best I'm gonna be. But then turned out that the woman at tourism had given me the wrong information about where in the Palacio de Gobierno, the yellow building over there, where in that building this woman's office was. So I had to get directions a couple times. I got to her office at 11 o'clock. Okay, not lunchtime yet. Good. She wasn't there. And I recognized that I was scared. I was getting nervous. I got to do this right. It's awful important. It does feel like not only the reason I was in that jail, but the reason I was in Orizaba. I've had many, many fabulous experiences, but I really feel like I got brought here to bring that guy down. That jailer has to meet accountability. I don't think it's a bad jail. I don't think that's the way they treat people, but it's the way he does. So I was getting nervous. I want to do this right. And then they said, oh, she's not here yet. She'll be here at 1. So I've got another hour and a half to kill. I'll go to the grocery store. I've got a tiny bit of money left to get me through till the 29th. I gotta get me some groceries. Nothing to give the guys asking for handouts on the street. Okay, so that's a very long way of saying in this world there are things you're meant to do. It may be to do with your parenting, it may be to do with your writing or your art, and maybe you're a preacher, maybe it's people on the street that you just help when you have a chance to help. But you're not here just to be. Being is the starting point. I've got being down 4.5 years ago. That came, and I'm good at that. I do say I'm awake. I am. But that's not enough. Then, okay, what are you going to do with it? It's a great old R&B song. Now that we found love, what are we going to do with it? Yeah. What are you going to do? Figure that out. First question is, who are you? Second question is, okay, now that I know who I am, what am I meant to do? Great. I'm coughing too much. Have a good day. Bye.